I'm going to start off real quickly. The way...
Where does it turn on?
Okay, so it turns on the back,
question.
and we'll get to that here in just a second. But we'll go through some of this other stuff first. So just as you can see, like your old soundboard, you had all these knobs in a row here. Mm-hmm. Well, what they've done is they've taken and put all those and compacted them into this one section right here.
Gotcha.
Okay? So if I'm on channel 1 and I want to change something on channel 1, I hit the select button, and that tells this part of the board to now listen to channel 1. Okay? And I can change things. Now I want to be able to see those changes. If I hit this top button, processing, it's going to highlight and show me that I am looking at channel 1 here. So, what we have going on is this is just like on your old board. How many of you have a decent do any of you have a decent background with sound, or are small? Okay. So what happens is when the signal first comes into the board from a microphone or CD player, or if you plug it in your phone or iPod or whatever, it comes in, and the first thing it hits is what's called this preamp. Okay, and what the preamp does is it adjusts the signal to the board. Okay, and I'm going to go over here really quick and show you. So I'm going to plug my phone in.
God, I'm glad I'm not the only one that saw that.
What happened?
He pushed it and it went.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen it twice now. So.
Okay. Whew.
And I love the background on this one.
Okay. So I'm playing some music right now, and I'm plugged into stereo 1, which is up here, and I'll get to how we switch all that and everything. So I'm going to hit the select button,
Okay.
and we can see there's some meters there. There's a meter here. If I stop, that goes away, and that goes away up there. But I'm going to hit play, so that's there. If for this room, that's probably enough. But if I really wanted a lot more signal, what I would do is I'd come to this preamp, and I would turn it up. And as you can see right here, as I turn it, it's boosting it here. The signal's going up on the meters and there. And now it's a lot louder. So now the one thing you want to be careful of with this is digital. So what happens when you get up, and it's not going to let me go that far. Let me see if I can turn it up. Okay. And we start seeing red lights. The digital stops. The sound stops, and it's going to start sounding. And a lot of the sound it's just not going to sound very good. Okay, so we want to stay below that point. And to be honest, you'll never need to get that high. I mean, this is set to 0 right now, and I would probably run it between 6 and 12 on there. And that gives me, you don't want it so loud so you only push it up there and it's like screaming loud, and you don't want it so quiet that you're still up here and you don't have enough sound. I mean, you want to be somewhere so that you have full access to the fader and you get a good gradual increase of sound and you have some operating room. So a lot of people try and put it so like right here is the optimal level. I don't care about that. I'm always just worried whether or not I get a very smooth up and down. I don't care if I have faders down here and if I have faders up here, but this is kind of a target area, and I can explain a little bit more about that in a second. But so that's what the head amp is. So first thing that happens is the sound hits that. And that determines the volume for everything for that channel for the rest of the board. So once that is set, it's kind of a set it and leave it kind of deal. So you get it set and then you leave it. Because if I go and send sound now to the monitor mixes, and I go, man, it's... and then I've got that set, and then I come back over here, back to here, and I turn this up, and I go, man, I wish I had a little more sound, and I reach up here and I turn this up, well, it's going to get a whole lot louder in the back in the monitors too. And I can't tell from here and all of a sudden the actors are going to be like, oh, what's going on? It's crazy back here. So you really, it's one of those things, turn that down, that you want to get this set, and you just leave it. You set the preamp and leave it. And it's the first thing you do.
Okay.
Is the first thing. Now, because you're using always the same wirelesses and all that stuff, once you get it set the first time, you will probably never mess with it again, to be honest, okay? Unless the only time you might have that is if you get an actor or actress on the stage where their voice is just really huge, or it's really way softer than everybody else. You might want to tweak with that a little bit, but you also got to be careful, because if you turn it up too much on a microphone, you get up to here, and you'll get feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And, and you don't want, you want to keep. When I'm doing, get off of this channel. When I'm moving this, I want to be able to get up somewhere in this range at least without any feedback.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm getting to here and I'm getting feedback, then I've got something set up wrong, okay? So, and that usually it's here. This is, and you can look and go, oh man, that's set way higher than everything else. It's also right here. It says trim 12 dB, so you can see a change. Another place you can change it if you want. You can click that and change it there too. So it gives you some options. And right now, see this, I'm on channel 1, but it's not highlighted. Stereo 1 is highlighted. So that's what I was actually changing.
That's what flips back and forth.
And
Okay.
so if I wanted to change one, I have to make sure I get that lit when I'm on whatever channel I'm working on lit. Because what happens is, and I've made this mistake myself, because I used regular analog soundboards for 15, 20 years before I got into digital. And I always forget to hit the stupid little select button and get to the place. I just want to reach up and grab something and start tweaking it. And I'm going, why isn't it doing what it's doing? And then somebody else starts talking, and then I'm like, oh, that sounds horrible. I just messed them up. And I have to go back and fix it. So you just always really want to pay attention to where that select button is as to what you're tweaking. So I'm just going to put that back up to 0 for right now. So that... but that's where you want, so you want to have good throw action in that. You want to also be able to get up into this area without any feedback. You're only going to get feedback on microphones. Playback music, or if somebody plugs in a keyboard or plugs in a guitar or something like that, anything electronic, you're not going to get feedback on. It's only when you actually have a live microphone that you're going to get the feedback. So you just want to be careful of that. So that... we get up there, we set, and there I did it again. I'm on the, let's go there, and we set our level there, and get that where we need it, and then usually you do that with the fader down. Then you can slowly bring up the fader and see, if you're getting decent signal or whatever, and then as long as you have it good, then you can make little minor adjustments up or down. So the next section here, this piece here, it says HPF. That stands for high pass filter. What that does, when I hit it, it turns green. That means it's on. I use that on vocal mics a lot, and that's about it. What it does is some people really like to pop their P's and B's and stuff like that, and when they're talking into a microphone, they're like, the President of the United States, and this big puff of air comes out, and it sounds like a cannon going off, and you're like, what the heck's going on? That will help soften that a little bit. It doesn't get rid of it completely, but it will help soften it a little bit. And you, if you look really closely, you can see this purple line. I'm adjusting that, and it is also, I'm trying to see if there's a readout. Apparently, oh, there it is. Okay, so if you hit this, touch this, you can see a readout. Typically, where that gets set is right around 80 to 100 hertz. For female voices, you can go higher than that. Go up to, maybe 200. For male voices, you want to stay probably below 150. And part of that just depends. I mean, if it's a a male tenor, then you can go a little higher. But if it's a male bass, you want to be careful going beyond 150 or something like that, because now you're starting to cut into where their vocal range is, and you can be kind of tearing some of that out. But that will help with that. The next section here, and you can see they put little nice boxes around everything to see where everything is. This turns this section on and off again. And this is the EQ section. And once again, as I turn these, so what we've got is this is low frequency, low mids, high frequency. Width, let me pull one down. So first I'm going to take and I'm going to cut this here, and you can see the little yellow line drop down. Now I can change the width of that, how wide that's cutting those frequencies, and then I can also change where it is. So this is 9 times out of 10 I do not use much EQ, especially on vocals, where you I mean, you have to kind of use your personal judgment. Where it really becomes a big thing is if somebody gets onto the microphone and they just don't sound right. Something's just wrong with their voice, or if they're playing an instrument and something's just wrong with it, it just doesn't sound quite right. That's when you start messing with this EQ section. But you can do a lot of damage with EQ. And so what you need to do when you're doing EQ is, I always recommend always cutting and not boosting. So that's when it goes down, that's a cut. When it goes up, that's boosting. So right now I'm boosting the bass quite a bit. And the reason that you want to cut and not boost is because when you boost sound, you're adding more sound into the system, which can give you more possibility for problems with feedback, more problems with EQ problems in other microphones and stuff like that. You're just adding more sound to the system, which can be more detrimental. When you cut,